Welcome to episode 13, lucky number 13, Friday the 13th. It's not actually the 13th of May, it's the 8th of May, but it's the 13th episode. I'm joined today, very special. Oh, shit. Finally, the fucking drums kicked in, right? I was a little slow on that, right? Fucking 13th episode of this thing. I'm going to make the music stop. Why would I have music on? What the fuck is wrong with me? You know what I mean? Episode 13, lucky 13, Friday the 13th, the 13th floor elevators. I'm here joined with good buddy Carlos Valencia, very funny dude.
What's up?
What have you been up to, dude?
Well, lately just watching you dance there. I thought that was going to be the whole podcast, was just me watching you get down to the intro music.
I could do that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like American Bandstand or some shit. Soul Train.
Just me in a drum throne dancing at my computer.
Have they done that? Yeah, I figure they're doing all the kinds of online comedy shows now. Are they doing like online dance shows now where you just watch somebody dance?
That's called pornography.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's OnlyFans. That's what they do there.
OnlyFans, is that what that is?
Yeah, they pay you to you jerk off or you dance, depending on what type of performer you are. Yeah.
I thought of starting on OnlyFans, but I figured I'd make more money doing only people that hate me.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, only haters.
Yeah, it was like I think my first Twitter post ever was if you just pay me $5, $5 a month, I'll stop posting. Like,
yeah, that'd be great.
I ever did.
How long ago was that?
Fuck, I don't know. I started Twitter in like 07 or 08, and then I stopped until literally like 6 months ago.
Oh, holy shit! What happened there?
I didn't like it. I would tweet from my phone and then not get notified. Like I had like a shit phone, you know. Yeah, you met me when I had the shit phone, the like penny burner, like flip phone. You know?
Yeah, that's I called that shit phone era, Jason.
Yeah. You remember shit phone era, Jason?
Mm-hmm.
So I would like tweet from that because you had a number that you
right.
And if it took it from your number, then it would put it up. So I would like, Sandy Hook happens, and I'm like, hey,
there's comedy gold.
Yeah, this ecological hero, he's saving the planet 26 at a time, and you don't get notifications from it. It's great. Like that's that. So, but I didn't know that stuff was happening out there when I would do stuff like that.
I didn't. I got on Twitter like 09, and I didn't use it for or rarely use it for like 2-3 years just because I didn't get it. I was like, there would be all these @ signs and the number sign, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on most of the time.
Yeah, it would be like number, but then there's a word after it, and then there's people saying stuff. It's like, that's not how you do phone. It's like 1-800, then you can say words.
It didn't make any sense. So I just ignored it for the longest time. Then somebody was like, hey, you need to get your Twitter numbers up. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know how to do that either because I can follow a lot of people. That doesn't mean they're going to follow me back.
Right. Yeah. Which is weird. Like you're a joke writery kind of guy. Like you're not like bait and switch all the time. You're a good comic, but I mean, you write good jokes also.
Oh, thank you. I mean, now I make it a point to try to at least update my thing at least once a day.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I was just like, I don't know. I'm just the same thing happened when I had a MySpace and then Facebook came out. I'm like, I got MySpace. I'm not gonna fuck with this other shit. Yeah. And then MySpace went down the hill. So all right, I'll give my Facebook a try.
Right.
And Twitter came out. I'm like, fuck that shit. I got Facebook.
Right.
So I don't know. And then I just got an Instagram like 3 years ago. I'm way behind the game on everything.
Yeah, Instagram. I got into Instagram. I don't remember when I got into Instagram, but like I didn't link it to anything or give a fuck about it. And I would like just, if I was making visual art for any reason, I would just like take a picture of it and put it up. Like I made a robot that paints. Look at what it did. Dumb shit. Just weird.
Well, my thing was always like, if I have pictures I need to post, I can just post them on Facebook. Why do I need this other thing?
Right.
I don't know. Every couple of years, there's a new thing. Now I guess it's TikTok. You got a TikTok, Jason?
No, I don't fuck with. I mean, I fuck with it. Like, I watch people on TikTok. Like, have you seen this giant fucking baby?
Oh yeah, Donald Trump.
No, there's like a fucking. He's bigger than Donald Trump, dude. This kid is
Holy shit.
like. This kid is fucking massive. There's like video of him lifting a Jeep.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this baby is like in a diaper, bald headed, and just fucking bodying a Power Wheels Jeep. Like just doing
And they're allowing this kid to do that? Is that like just some way of circumventing child labor laws? Like if you
I don't
break a
think,
world record, you can put them to work?
well, it's not. I mean, it's not part of the like agricultural process to lift the Jeep.
Jesus Christ.
There's no production there. He's just doing it for fun, I think.
Oh, okay. So as long as you don't pay him to lift the Jeep, it's okay?
I mean, so if he was like, if the Jeep had a half a ton of corn in the back and he was lifting it to market, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Then it
then
would be illegal because you'd be like, hey, that was worth money.
right. But as long as what you're doing is completely useless to society, then it's
Then it's
okay.
not labor, right?
Right. Right. Okay.
You could have a 3-year-old doing stand-up comedy and it would be fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're never gonna make any money doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be what do you call it? Child abuse.
Oh, for sure. Did you ever meet that the dad of that little girl in Texas? Did you ever go through between like 12 and 15, 2012, 2015, somewhere in there? There was
Uh-huh.
like this fucking dude in Texas that like had this little girl, and she was like 10 or 12, like in that range, but she had like really long stringy hair. I don't want to make fun of this child because she's a fucking child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know what she thinks is cool and like what was forced on her and all this, like, and I mean I had adults kind of pushing me towards comedy before I was 18, so I
But
don't.
who is this person? She did stand-up? Because no, I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, she did stand up. I don't remember her name, but she had like this T-shirt that looked like a Nirvana T-shirt, but it was like her name. And
Hmm.
then she talked about how much she liked Nirvana, and then she talked about like it was really weird because it was structured like the way an adult would write a set
Oh.
for a child. Like her bait and switches were great. Like she was a decent joke writer, or whoever was writing the jokes was a decent joke writer. But the pipe laying that you do when you try to tell people about yourself, because like we have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That shit sucks. I don't like doing that. But
Yeah, right.
you're supposed to do it. But
Well, yeah, unless you're super famous, you can get away with not, people already know who you are, but yeah,
right.
if you're
And
not, you
even then
gotta.
they do it. Like even then, because it's time filler and it makes a thing feel like an hour or whatever. Where
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, 6 months ago you saw me bitch about my kids and call my daughter a cunt, but I'm gonna do it again. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
we get it. We get it. I mean, it's really easy to crank out an hour a year when it's the same one 3 times in a row.
Sure.
So, but anyway, the point is, yeah, I don't know why I brought her. Oh, yeah. Because like that, I would say is like a child labor thing. Like you're making merch.
Yeah. But did that last very much, or was it just like a flash in the pan and nobody ever heard of this chick again? She's stripping now.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I don't. Yeah, she's probably of age. She's like one of the Olsen twins dealer or something. Texas, child comedian girl, Nirvana. Let's see what happens. Sassy Herndon, Saffron Herndon.
What would have been really hilarious is if she had shot herself in the head.
Yeah. And she's done like holy shit. She did the Today Show in 2015. Performs and then runs out of clean material. So her closer on the Today Show is to like, I'm out of clean material.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, now apparently she's probably on TikTok.
Oh yeah, I bet.
There's no way this kid's not on TikTok.
She's made for TikTok.
Yeah, 10-year-old doing like 4 minutes clean on the Today Show. Come on.
Is TikTok not just Vine? Remember Vine?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
The CIA and Hollywood took down Vine to stop black teenagers from taking over the entertainment industry.
Is that what it was?
I think that's 100% what it was, because like they were just crushing it. These black teenagers are just crushing it on Vine, making some of the greatest comedy, not just comedy. Like some of it was like, I mean, it was like Eraserhead level art.
Oh, holy, really? In like 9 seconds or whatever? Because they have to be like really short videos.
Yeah, they would be. I mean, they would make like 6 of them in a row,
Ah, I
would
see.
edit that and put it on YouTube. You know.
So what's the difference between TikTok? I mean, TikTok's
Well,
like just, it's like Vine, but longer.
the Chinese government owns it, so you get to have freedom. So
But how ironic.
you can show titties. You know.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, now I'm going to have to get it now.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I look at it on desktop. I won't install the app on my phone, but I won't install any apps on my phones. I'm like, no Facebook, no Twitter, you know.
That's smart, man. I've tried that before, but I got, well, especially with Facebook and Twitter, it's just because I try to update it every day, it's just convenient for me to have it right
Yeah.
there and then. But if it wasn't, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for stand up, I don't know if I'd even have a Facebook or a Twitter or fuck with much of social media, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if I didn't get back, like if I hadn't gotten back into doing stand up in like 11 or whatever after this like super long break,
Uh-huh.
I would have, because like I used Facebook. I had MySpace or whatever, and that was like 40,000 fans. Booked several tours doing that with like
Wow.
solo folk music bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
It was like noisy folk music.
All right.
And that was really fucking fun. And it was funny. It wasn't stand up, but it was whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was like super improv based and all that. So that was like probably the most social media bullshit I've ever had to do.
And then you just got out of it altogether?
Yeah, I got completely out of social media for a while, and then just started booking. Like when I started doing comedy again, then it was like, well, I guess I have to have this stuff be public.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I looked on I looked at my old band MySpace. It was really fun because it was like because they deleted all the records last year.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, like Time Warner fucked up and deleted every record. And like tons of that shit was the only copies that I ever had left. Cause it was like I would sell records on 3.5-inch floppy disks.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, just like to make fun of hipsterdom, kind of like where it was
How many songs can you fit on a floppy disk?
one.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
One and a notepad file that had a link to like a download
Oh, okay.
FTP with a with a password and stuff.
That's kind of a cool gimmick, though.
Yeah, it was pretty funny for sure because it was like it's both. There is a joke there, and then also like the outside had the URL for the FTP and the password anyway to get the rest of it.
Yeah.
And like if you bought one song, you got the whole everything else that existed.
That's cool. It's funny because I literally just today, like maybe 2 hours ago, was looking for something and I came across a couple of floppy disks and I'm like, oh, I wonder what's in these. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know where I'm gonna fucking look it because I don't have a floppy disk drive. I'd have to like rehook up an old desktop to check out what's on that floppy disk.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have a floppy disk drive that's like external in a closet somewhere because the computer I was using to record those records and dump them to drives was like it got all fucked up, and so I found this like USB thing where it's like a box that you put the drive in, and then it goes USB to whatever. So any drive, it's pretty dope because like if a friend has like a laptop hard drive fuck up or whatever, then I can like take the hard drive out and get their files for them,
Oh, it's so you can connect a hard drive to and a floppy disk drive, all that.
Any internal mountable drive for a desktop will mount USB with it. It's fucking.
Oh, damn! I need to get one of those because I have a couple of old hard drives that I just can't connect to anything. But if that's a thing,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're cheap as shit too. Like, if you go to like a computer fix guy, those guys that they fix the computers, that's what they're gonna do is they're gonna take that thing and mount it in a like external mountable hard drive thing.
Right on.
I'm good at words, man. That's why I'm good at comedy. I like
computer fix guy that can fix us computers.
Yeah, that's why they make us do it on the stage, We're fucking good at we're fucking good at words, you and me. You know, guys like us
Yeah.
that are good at words, that's what they
I-
like, you know.
I'm one of the goodest guys at words that I've ever met.
Yeah, sometimes you know what they say is the only thing that can stop a bad guy with words is a good guy with gooder words.
With gooder words than the words that the bad guy was
Yeah,
using.
he had bad words.
Bad words, yeah.
Or shit, maybe he had really good words, but he was a bad guy using them. You know.
Yeah, that's where the conundrum
Right.
begins. Have
Yeah.
you done any online shows? Any of these
I was
screening?
talking to George about that. He's out in Vegas, and he was like, "Man, these open micers, they can't stop. You know, like they can't quit." So like they're doing whatever, and nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah,
So I'm not doing that. I just
yeah.
started doing this about a week and a half ago. Um,
How's it going?
it's been fun. I like doing it. I mean, I like talking. I like talking to people, so it's a nice way to be like, "Hey, what's up?" You know.
Is it easy? Because I'm asking for, because I have a podcast that we've always done in person
Yeah.
with in-person guests, but now it's looking like we might have to go this route. And I'm just wondering, is it complicated to get the recording and all that?
No, this has been the easiest fucking thing ever. Like
Okay.
I am wildly lazy, you know,
Yeah.
like, in terms of especially this kind of shit. Like I did one Discord and I did like everybody had to record their own shit and like right
Mhm.
before you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody claps so that it's on the audio.
I
You have
see.
to sync them in
The second,
Audacity.
yeah.
And, yeah, like and that worked. But for this one, doing it this way where it's on Zoom and then we bounce it to YouTube. I'm not putting it anywhere else. It's just YouTube.
Okay.
If we felt like there was more, like I feel like going forward after this whole quarantine thing's over, even when that happens, I'll probably just because of the form factor of how easy this shit is.
Yeah.
Like when we get off this call,
Mhm.
right? It'll export. I'll go outside and smoke a cigarette and do another shot of whiskey, right?
Yeah.
And when I get back, it'll be done exporting the whole thing, and the audio is going to be level-ish, right?
Uh-huh.
Where I could hear you and you could hear me, so that means everybody can hear everything. So I put that on YouTube, and then that's it. I type the description and put any links I want, like your Twitter or a link to your podcast's SoundCloud or whatever.
What kind of a file is it when you're done? Do you know?
M4A.
Okay.
Let me see. Uh, let me see if any recents are. Nope.
'Cause that's like I've been reluctant to use this kind of stuff because just sound quality and stuff. But I mean, this sounds pretty good. I mean, I don't know what it would sound like once you have the finished product, but right now it sounds pretty good.
It sounds pretty good. Yeah, it sounds. I'll send you a link I'll send you a link as soon as it's uploaded. But it sounds pretty good, and I think you know, at least for me, and at least for like what this is, where I'm like trying to do it every day. It's
Hmm.
not so
Oh
much.
shit, you're doing it every day?
Yeah, I took 4 days off in the middle, but I'm trying like I basically do it every day.
Wow.
Um, and at first it was more politicsy or whatever, but
Hmm.
like that's there's people that are better at politics than me, and I have those guests on and let them
Uh-huh.
kind of do what they want to do. Uh,
Uh-huh. I kind of felt that way when I started my pod because I mean, I get a little. I don't do much politics in my stand-up, but on Facebook and Twitter, I do get into it. But
yeah,
so when I started my podcast, I started with another couple of friends of mine, and some of them wanted to gravitate more to political stuff. And I'm like, I do feel passionate about a lot of things, but I'm not an expert on this shit. Why
right,
would anybody listen to me talk about politics when you can listen to a podcast of somebody that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about? So
right,
that's why. So mine is mostly. I mean, we still do. I mean, it's educational in the sense that we talk about a lot of historic stuff, and you try to learn shit. But the focus is on comedy because that's just what I know. Like I wish if I knew about politics, if I was more an expert on politics, I would do a podcast about that. But that's not the line of business I'm in.
Right, exactly. Like I wouldn't know anything about, like Saddam Hussein for real if it weren't for trying to make like a bathroom party joke.
Yeah.
Like I go on Wikipedia to just fact check
Right.
my jokes, right?
Isn't
Like
it funny that like, because I've done that too, but it's I mean, I'm just thinking about this right now, how comics, at least if they give a fuck about what they're doing, they'll try to fact check their jokes so they're legit. Meanwhile,
right,
on Facebook, all these motherfuckers are sharing whatever latest video that just reinforces whatever they believe in with doing absolutely zero fact checking.
right. And it's crazy, like it's also crazy because like as much as I value, correctness or whatever, it's also like when I'm obviously making a joke, people will come up to me after the show and be like, hey, like Cosmos wasn't originally made for the BBC, or like,
Right, right,
I-
right.
you know, I know, like,
Yeah.
like things that are obvious jokes or like bits in a joke setup.
Yeah, I have a joke. I don't know. It's too long to really get into, but it's basically about how in soccer tournaments they'll put the score on the corner and they'll do a three-letter abbreviation of every country.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
like Germany,
yeah, the Nigeria joke.
yeah, that one, right?
Yeah.
So the actual abbreviation for Nigeria is NGA.
Right.
But if the people the country that has NIG, I believe, is Niger.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Nigeria is a more popular country than Niger.
Right.
So a lot of people are not gonna know how Niger is spelled. So I just go with Nigeria because more people know that, even though it's
Right.
not factually accurate. For the sake
Also,
of the joke, it
also
works better.
it's also alienated from the joke, right? Because Niger is too close to the punchline.
That's true too. Yeah, it almost
Works.
it would easily telegraph the punchline.
Yeah, exactly. So it works two ways. One, it alienates it from the ending, and two, yeah, exactly. So like there's
So
times where you have to like intentionally be not accurate, but like
right.
these moments don't matter. Like
Right. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But you'll get every now and again somebody after the show be like, "Well, actually, Nigeria is NGA." I'm like, I know. It's the
yeah, it's a comedy show. What the fuck is wrong with
right. Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Jesus. Um Fucking goddamn.
What you got on your door, man? Is that
Oh,
like
let me see. Oh, that's my
is that the Kama Sutra?
I got a bouncy ball for Christmas that's like for your abs.
Oh, those are instructions on how to use the bouncy ball.
Yeah, you balance on it or whatever. And I was like, well, I don't want to throw it away. I don't need it because all I do is like sit on it and then hands up, feet up.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know there was so much instruction involved with the bouncy balls.
yeah, they made a bunch of shapes for it. So I just left it. I was like, I taped it to the wall because I was like, you know what? This might be funny someday. I don't know.
There you go. Just paid off, man.
Yeah. Hey, boom.
Finally.
I made an investment and now it's paid off.
Yep.
For future reference, if I ever need to make fun of child labor again, Saffron was that girl's name in Texas.
Saffron?
Saffron.
Okay.
Saffron. Yeah, and it was like her t-shirt was the Nirvana like smiley face with the X eyes, but it was
Yeah.
a teddy bear.
But what was it? Teddy bear?
Yeah, it was like a teddy bear or like a bunny or something. Like they didn't make it a circle; they made it like have ears.
That's funny. Like when I was, it doesn't matter where I was, but it was like a friend of mine had this very young friend, like she was 19, maybe 20.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend was about my age at the time, about 35. And they were talking about Nirvana, and the young girl, she was like, oh yeah, Nirvana, that's like dad music.
Yeah.
So if it was dad music for this 20-year-old, it's got to be like ancient history for this girl you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part. It's like if you're 10 in 2015 and yeah, for like a 19-year-old, it's dad music.
Yeah, for her, it's grandpa music, I guess. Or
Yeah,
it's close to it.
yeah, exactly. Like it means that her dad is one of those like wrong generation people that's like, I like Zeppelin, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He's like a millennial boomer, you know, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that he's like, I was born in the wrong generation, one of those guys,
Yeah, right.
you know?
Do you still follow music? I mean, being a musician, do you still follow music?
Yeah. I still play. I teach, I teach music on this. Like,
But I mean, do you follow popular music these days?
oh yeah, for sure. I try to keep up. Like I had to figure out what Billie Eilish was. I had to figure
Okay.
that out. That was interesting.
Yeah.
I really
I thought
like Doja Cat.
I don't know who that is.
It's like she got like this song about how big her ass is pretty good.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, you're like it made me happy because I had just gone down to like I had just decided to like do the mullet.
All right.
And she has this line where she's like, if you can see it from the front, wait till you see it from the back. It made
Ah.
me really happy because I was like, yeah, that's my head,
It's
you
like
know.
she's talking to me.
Yeah, her ass, my hat, my head, my hair,
Yeah, I didn't know when I first heard Billie Eilish, I thought it was somebody was mispronouncing Billy Idol.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah, I just can't. I know I hear about a lot of times I hear every now and again I'll watch Saturday Night Live and their guest will be somebody I've never heard of.
Yeah,
So that's how I find out about new artists. But I never listen to the radios, and so I really don't know. And a lot of it, uh, uh, I mean, basically, I think the mainstream now is hip hop. I think those are if you're just looking at like the top 10 pop hits,
yeah,
a lot of them are going to be hip hop. And I like hip hop, but my knowledge of hip hop stopped somewhere around the mid 2000s.
yeah. And like I like hip hop, but like I like SoundCloud rappers mostly. Like I like little guys,
Uh-huh, right.
like uh and that's been going for pretty much since 2011 or so, like just Bandcamp rappers, SoundCloud rappers, like local, independent guys, people that are
But they're
still doing crimes, like
oh yeah, that's actually yeah.
active felons, like that's who I like.
Right. Yeah,
uh
that's good.
and they're, it's so that's when it's really funny to be like, oh yeah, I like that, I like this guy, and then all of a sudden a kid is like liking that guy, and I'm like, hell yeah, that guy got it, he
Right
won.
on.
Yeah, he gets to be popular, so sometimes that happens, which is really fun. When I
Did
listen
you oh, go ahead.
when I listen to music, I either do like Bandcamp or SoundCloud, and I use the hashtags, right? You use the hashtags, the number sign, and the
Uh-huh.
like subgenre or whatever. um
Dude, you know what? I mean, since you're into music and all that, I just saw this. A friend of mine posted this last night on Facebook. AI generated music. Have you heard any of that?
Fuck yes, dude, I
That
love it.
was that
Like,
was fucking wild, dude. He posted some shit that was supposed to. Well, it sounded just like Jay-Z, but
yeah,
apparently it's all AI. And I'm like, how the fuck? How is this? Because it
the
sounds like Jay-Z.
the audio deep fake for his voice was really easy to generate too, because he let all his acapellas out, right?
Uh huh.
So they built his, I forgot the name for it, but it's called like a framework basically.
Uh huh.
That's all of the ways he says every syllable in every context.
So these words, like because I was trying to figure this out because there's actual lyrics to this, which is what blew my mind the most. Like the music is impressive too, but
Are
the
you
fact that
talking
there's
about
lyrics,
the
it sounds like a
I'm a
diss
Navy
track.
SEAL and I'll
Yeah,
fuck you
that
up?
one,
Yeah,
that
it's
one.
called the Navy SEAL copy pasta. Let me see if I can find it.
Right.
Uh, because
And there's actual words. So I'm saying, like, are they sampling actual words that he said, or is this just literally syllable by syllable imitating the sounds that make that word?
yeah,
What the fuck?
the computer did it.
Wow.
Is the easiest way to say it. So they took the things, they took a bunch of audio of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the vocal synthesis program takes it all and goes, oh yeah, that's how he says this in this context, and that's how he says this in this context. The best of the vocal synthesis isn't even music. It's like George W. Bush reading the Navy SEAL copy pasta, or Obama doing, you know, cop killer, you know, like,
So they have enough samples of his voice that they can make the computer read something just in the voice of whoever it is.
exactly.
Ah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. So then if you have enough video footage, then you could deep fake too.
Right.
And so theoretically, in like, 10 years or so, when it's culturally alienated enough, and George W. Bush is no longer like a war criminal to 60% of the
Right.
population, and
Yeah.
we just everybody has to pretend he was this nice guy that danced on Ellen, you know, then we'll have like a record, like we'll make a George W. Bush record when he dies.
Right.
It'll be like Tupac.
Yeah, we're getting into like Westworld type of shit. Like it's just a matter of getting enough processing capacity to be able to do a lot of this shit.
And, yeah, no, and for the record, I would rape George W. Bush at gunpoint
You should write a song about that.
in Westworld. Yeah. No, on Jurassic Park. No, Westworld. Which is it where it's real? No, it's an animal. No, it's a robot.
Yeah, you're fucking a robot that is just like the real person, but it's a
Yeah.
robot.
Yeah. And that is an appropriate rape joke because it's a war criminal.
Yeah. I think that
I think that's
passes
an okay rape
all
joke.
treaties.
Yeah, I think that's a punching up for sure. He
And
was also
that's acceptable under the Comedy Treaty of 2012.
Yeah, is that when we wrote that up? I don't
I
remember
think
signing.
that's what. Yeah, they're in Vienna.
No, I do remember Vienna now. I was kind of in a blackout that whole year.
This might have been during the shitty phone days of Jason. This shitty phone era.
That is shitty phone era. Yeah, the shitty phone era ended in 2012.
So yeah, there you go. That's why you
Yeah,
don't remember it quite well, because I remember texting you about it, but I wasn't sure if it was going to go through. It was over 144 characters, so I thought, well, it's going to get all chopped up when I send it.
Yeah, I had the penny burners.
Mm-hmm.
The LG Remark was made with corn plastic.
I was for years. I guess this is just a common thread in my life. But for years, I was like, I don't need a cell phone. I want people to be able to call me all the time. I don't want to be in constant contact. So finally, I got a phone, just
Right.
a regular flip phone, and then smartphones came out. I'm like, I don't need fucking smartphone. I got this fucking thing. This is good enough. And then I
Right.
finally got a smartphone. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't go back to anything. And now I got to replace it every 2 to 3 years because then my smartphone is too slow for whatever the apps are now. I got,
This is
but yep,
a Note 3.
this is an iPhone 6 that smashed all the shit, and
Yeah,
they've all been hand me downs. One of my friends will get a new phone. They'll let me have their old one.
dude. If you're gonna want to do that, what you want to do is switch to Android because you can buy new batteries,
Yeah.
SIM cards, all SD cards, all that bullshit. Like I think this was $75, and the batteries are $5. So if a battery dies, I buy a new battery.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes
Not
perfect
scared of it
sense too.
falling in the toilet. I'll go to all the music festivals. I'll take drugs with the teenage girls. We'll all pretend we like Billie Eilish. We'll
Right.
roll. I don't know what drugs are really, what the kids do now that's fun, but I'll do those, right? And I'll just fucking not
No, it
worry
makes
about it.
perfect sense, dude. I remember just saying this, like they were announcing the new iPhone, and this was years ago, so God knows which one it was. But they're like, the camera now has got all these megapixels, and then the screen is HD, and I'm like, hey, iPhone, how about I trade you all that for just like a SD slot so I can expand my memory, or a replaceable battery, like just basic
Literally
shit.
the last thing they want to do.
Yeah,
They would
they don't
lose
want to do that at
they
all.
would lose so much market share. Like people invest in them specifically because they fuck their customers so hard.
Yeah, and they've been doing it even before iPhones. They would do that with old
Yeah.
Macs and shit. Like they would get a new OS, and they're like, "Oh no, you got to upgrade to OS 10, or you're
Yep.
fucked with your old Mac."
Yep. Let me pause for 2 seconds so I can go take a piss.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Cool. Yeah, I was just reading today that you can actually get the corona through semen. So I'm really glad we're doing this over Zoom
Yeah, yeah.
instead of,
Yeah.
you know, the way we usually do things. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah, you
You
know how
know?
we do.
Well, yeah, the way I usually do things, I should
Well,
say.
right. Well, and then the way you usually force things on me is what I'm trying to say.
I wouldn't call it force so much as I take your cum.
Well, you
I beg.
wouldn't call it force. for
I
legal
mean,
reasons. Your Honor.
it's not forced. It's a job, and in America, that would be slavery to have a forced job. And so I'm not forcing you to let me do a job. That's slavery.
It's it's right to work.
Yeah, we're a right to work state, and I'm not in a
Hmm.
union. I just do the job. I just show up
That's right.
and I pull the gravy out.
Pull the gravy. That was it. Remember when that was your catchphrase? Pull the gravy
Pull
out.
the gravy
You had
out.
all
And
those
say,
pull the
"Hey,
gravy out
Orlando, how
shirts.
we doing? Hey,
Hey,
Orlando."
you ready to pull the gravy out?
I would pull the mic out of the stand. I would grab the stand. I would walk it to the
Yeah.
back left of the stage, and I would say,
Hmm.
"Hey, is this where the stand goes? Back over there? You guys like that? Where I put the stand?" And then I would be like, "Oh, we live in Orlando. Y'all ready for
Hmm.
me to pull the gravy out?" You know,
Yeah, yeah. And
that's it.
then you'd have to pause for like 3 minutes for the standing ovation.
God damn, that was the
I
worst
remember
part.
like it was yesterday.
Yeah, dude.
That's why I never wanted to follow you when you were doing pull the gravy.
That was a closing thing. I knew better. I was professional. If I ever was featuring or emceeing, I never did pull the gravy. I would always do I would do the chicken and dumplings.
You would do. Oh yeah, that's right. You did chicken and dumplings when you
Did
were.
chicken and dumplings when I was featuring and hosting. I would always do chicken and dumplings. You gotta leave them wanting more. And sometimes they would beg for it. They would be yelling, "Pull the gravy out!"
Yeah, right.
I would
But
never pull the gravy out.
I gotta be honest. I don't know if I've told you this before. That you when you did chicken and dumplings, that's what inspired my chicky nuggies bit.
Really?
Oh yeah, my 15-minute bit on chicky nuggies. That was all inspired
I love
by you.
Chicky Nuggy. God
Yeah,
damn.
chicky nuggies.
Chicky Nuggy was so good. Also, like she'll have add mushroom.
Hmm. Oh yeah, that and now that one inspired about 100 other comics too.
Yeah, you got ripped off for years on that. It was
Yeah, it
crazy.
was. I mean, that's why like I did it on my first album, and I just named that track "Public Domain"
Yeah.
because so many people were doing
Disney bought that record and then
it.
thought
Yeah,
they
that's
owned
right.
the bit.
Yeah, right. They have the rights for the next 100 years.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, that was crazy. They didn't even change the wording or anything. People would just fucking rip you off wholesale.
It was, and the cadence was all the same. Like the beats were all the same, and it was one of those things. Like because it had happened before, but when I finally got video of it, I was like, okay, this is the same. But I ran it through several comics, just like, okay, I'm biased, obviously, because I know that he's seen me perform this Joker. But I was like, you watch this and you tell me what you think. And every single person was just like, oh yeah, dude,
That's
that's the same
crazy.
beat, same joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Like who was it? I don't remember. I mean, we don't need to say names, but like there was somebody that drew it out as like a part of a like graphic novel.
I know somebody did it a little like it was a comic book piece by piece, but that was
Yeah.
just for a poster for a show that I was doing. So it's not like they were stealing it. They did it
Oh, it was for
to put on a
you.
poster.
Okay, because I
Yeah,
could have
yeah.
sworn it was like they were doing it separate of you. Okay, because I was like fucking losing it over that one.
No, that person. I mean, if it's the one that I'm thinking, actually, my mom has that framed somewhere. But yeah, no, that one was just like a cool little poster where they did like a comic book version of that joke.
Okay.
The other people were just like doing it at their shows, like it was their joke.
Yeah,
It was,
it was crazy because it was like names. Like some of it wasn't like shitty comics. It was like you should know better type of people.
yeah, and like one of the like, because the one that I finally found on the video that somebody sent me the video, I had heard he was doing that joke before, but I let it go because they had told the person that got him, like, oh, it's just a one-time thing. I ran out of material and I just didn't know what to do. So I let it go.
Right.
And then later on, years later, when I was living in New York, I met a comic from DC, because that's where that comic was, DC, the guy that was stealing the joke. And they're like, hey, they recognized my name because of that whole thing that happened. And they're like, well, yeah, I knew him. What joke was it that he was stealing from you? And I told him what joke it was. And he was like, oh yeah, he would do that every week at all the open mics. It's like, so it wasn't
God
a one-time
damn.
thing. It was like one of his regular jokes. So like if I were hypothetically to have ever gone to DC during that time and told that joke, they would have been like, oh man, this dude's stealing Greg Brown's joke.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And he's dead now, right?
I not that I know of, but we can hope.
I could have sworn he died.
I don't know. I don't follow him, so I don't really know.
we don't have to say his name.
Well, I just said it. It's Greg Brown. It's funny that
Not the cool Greg Brown that played guitar on the first Cake record and
I know.
co-produced the Matt Sharp, the original bassist for Weezer's solo record.
I know, not that.
Different Greg Brown,
I'm
not
not
a
even familiar
Greg
with that
Brown,
one.
bad Greg Brown.
Bad Greg Brown, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got some fentanyl and some coke and died.
Holy shit, man.
That's what I heard like a year and a half ago. I heard that he got fentanyl and some coke and died.
So he's even stealing the way that he dies from other people?
From other comics, yeah.
Yeah.
He's dying in hacky ways.
He's dying in hacky ways, man.
He
Some people
died
just
in a
can't let
hack
it
way.
go, man.
He
Can't even be
died as
original
he
with your
lived,
death.
stealing bits.
At least he was true to himself, I guess.
Yeah. He died doing what he loved.
What he loved to do, hacking other people.
Stealing from other comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he fucking died.
If you say so, man. I don't know. It's one of those things where like I get in. It's happened several times where I get into it with people for different reasons, but after a while I'm like, all right, it's whatever. I don't care. But then apparently they still fucking think I'm every day of my life I'm thinking about them. I was like, no, I move on with my life.
Yeah, no. So like, I'm not gonna look through a million Greg Browns. He even has like a unrememberable name.
Yeah, you're gonna get 1,000 results, man.
Yeah,
He used to run the Asheville Comedy Festival, but after that shit went down, he had to recuse himself.
He was like working for them or he got.
No, he was one of the. I mean, it's a long story, but the short version of it is that he was one of the organizers. He's the guy that started the Asheville Comedy Festival. So that's how I knew him.
Yeah.
Because I did the first Asheville Comedy Festival, and so that's how I met him. That's how I also knew that he'd seen me tell that joke several times.
Right.
So when shit went down, he had a partner, and then his partner was like, "Ah, man, you can't be associated with the festival after all this shit's gone." There's shit that I found out years later that he was trying to push him out because it was like, this doesn't look good. And that's part of the reason why I outed him, was because they were getting submissions from all over the country. So if he's bold enough to steal a joke from me, who he knows, like I know him, we have people in common, what's to stop him from stealing a joke from a dude that submits a video from Montana that's never going to know that he's stealing his joke? He's getting submissions of jokes from all over the country every year.
Right.
That's an unlimited supply of material that he could be stealing unless somebody's calling out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was back when it's weird now, like when you call people out on jokes, it's like it almost feels petty. Like when I do it now, like I haven't done it in years because it just feels like, well, maybe they saw me do it or maybe they didn't and I don't care. But like for a second there, it was like we were allowed to be a little more possessive, and now it feels like we have to give everybody the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not an uncommon thing where when you're newer in a comedy, you're a little more possessive, because I think to an extent, at least just the way I felt about it, was like, hey man, this is one of my best jokes, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna write anything that's better than this, or I don't know if I'm ever gonna write new material that's gonna, if I lose that joke, then that's a big part of my set. I mean, if you stick around long enough, you're gonna write new material, you'll write new shit, you'll write better shit, but you don't know that at the time. So when somebody steals one of your best jokes, then you're like, holy shit, man, you're just fucking, I'm fucked here, because I can't tell that joke, or people are gonna think that I stole it from that guy.
Yeah.
After a while, you have enough material that you can be more dismissive. I still don't think it's cool, obviously. I don't think you should steal anybody's material. I don't think, I'm fine with calling people out, but I am more willing. Like, some people will send me stuff like, hey, this person on Twitter said the same joke that you did. I'm like, are they a comic? Or are they just some random person that,
right?
Because if it's some random person, I don't care.
Right.
Like, it's just whatever. But basically the same thing that you said. I'm not as adamant about like, oh, I gotta fucking destroy this person because they told a similar joke to even when the whole thing happened with Greg Brown, even though I did end up making a deal about it, I at least verify it with other people. Like, hey, what do you guys think before I lose my mind on this guy? Let
Right.
me make sure it's not just me. And
Right.
everybody was pretty much in agreement. Like, yeah, he stole your shit. So
Yeah.
that's why I outed it.
Exactly. Yeah. In that case, it was like an obvious one too. Like,
Yeah.
not. I mean, that is. It was such an inspired fucking bit, and he was doing it literally in the every part of the cadence. It was like
Yeah.
found your record, not just saw you do it a couple times. It was like he was doing. If you had had a British accent, he would have put on a British accent for the joke. You know,
Right. Right.
like it was
Yeah.
so exactly the fucking same. So yeah,
And
uh,
then, and he eventually admitted it. So,
right.
so hopefully he doesn't. Well, I mean, apparently he's dead now, according to you. So it puts an end
Either
to
he's
that.
dead or he doesn't do comedy anymore. And someone told me he died.
Okay.
So I don't know. I didn't know him that well anyway. I had submitted for Asheville in 2011, I think 2011,
Hmm.
2012. I'd submitted for Asheville, and again, I was this was shit phone Jason, so there was no, my videos were shit. Um,
You're recording them on a flip phone?
no, I used a full like high 8 camera,
Oh,
like
nice.
I used a
Mounted
big
on
high
somebody's
8 camera,
shoulder?
but I would like set it on the table before I went up, and then I would like walk back over and then hold it at the ground and then look at the viewfinder and hit
Ah.
stop, and then I would like send that, in high 8 format, and then nobody could play it. So I didn't get on any festivals from like 2009 to 2013. I didn't get to do any festivals because nobody had high 8 players.
Yeah.
But then in 2014 with the high 8 resurgence, everybody got real excited about high 8 again. It was
Right.
like the vinyl thing. It was the floppy disk thing of 2014. Everybody started getting into that.
So
So
you got
then all of a
into,
sudden I'm that hotness again,
you got, because
everybody
of all
loves,
that retro chic.
yeah. So everybody's loving my high 8 shit, they're loving
Hmm.
my 7 3/4, but they're loving my high 8 shit. And, so I get on a couple festivals then. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the long game, but it paid off eventually.
Well, it's the average game. It wasn't that long. It had a lot of girth though.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and I think that's what matters, is what they're saying.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Yeah,
I don't know who they is.
well, I don't know if I trust them, but that's what they say.
Yeah. Okay, they say that. Yeah, man. Fuck. Um,
Do you still submit for festivals?
no, I haven't submitted for a festival in a couple years because like I don't want to say I quit doing comedy, but I quit doing it in like the way where I'm like I gave a fuck about getting the traditional route towards it. Like
Right.
I just wanted to be good at the momentary art, like in the room. That's
Uh-huh.
all I cared about when I do comedy anyway. I don't, you know, 'cause I was a joke writer guy for so long, and then I just wanted to be an hour guy and not like a shitty, like tell you about my wife and kids type of
Right.
hour guy. I wanted to be like a murder the rhythm of the room guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I just focused really hard on that. And so I like to book myself fucked up rooms,
Hmm.
and then go do the job, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where because I haven't really submitted for very many festivals. I mean, in the last 5 years, it's a handful that I have, maybe. I did, well, I did, JT Habersat?
Yeah, fucking
Yeah,
love JT.
yeah, JT is great. He's got that festival that he started in Austin, the Altercation,
Yeah,
but he just asked me to do it. And fortunately, I had some gigs booked. Well, I say near Texas. I was in New Mexico. It was one of the worst routing ideas I ever had. I was in Albuquerque,
yeah,
and then the next day I was booked in Austin. I'm like, well, New Mexico and Texas, they're right next to each other. A
right.
fucking 13-hour drive from Albuquerque. It's like fucking. I forget that the states get gigantic
Yeah,
once you cross the Mississippi.
yeah,
So yeah, so I literally had to like finish my gig in Albuquerque, get in my car, drive overnight to get to Austin to do the spot. But anyway, it was a cool festival. There's a lot of great fucking comics, a lot of alternative comics, a lot of friends that I got to see there. But that's basically the last of the festivals that I've done in a long time. I just don't, and part of it is kind of goes
That's
back to
like a
what you
hot
said.
minute ago, right? Like that was.
Oh yeah, that altercation, that would have to be, well, that was the very first altercation, and I think they've done at least 2 or 3 since then.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm assuming like 3 or 4 years ago is when
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
was. I was gonna try to do it again this year, but I don't even know if they're gonna have one
Yeah,
with the
they
whole
normally
COVID.
have it like in the middle of the summer, right?
It's like August, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
middle
yeah,
of summer. And so, but anyway, because I've concentrated more on trying to just do my headliner sets,
yeah,
that doesn't necessarily translate to doing festivals because a lot of them want you to submit a 5 minute tape. And
yeah.
I'm like, I can't establish myself and get going in 5 minutes. That's not the kind of comic that maybe when I started out, I would have been a lot better at doing very concise, tiny sets. But now I'm more geared towards being able to perform as a headliner than I
Yeah.
am. I'm more, to compare it to track and field, I'm more of a marathon runner than I am a sprinter now.
Right,
And I don't have that muscle of like telling very quick jokes. I mean, I guess I could, but it's just not the way I feel comfortable doing anymore. I'd rather establish myself and just do a longer set. And yeah,
right,
no festival is gonna watch an hour long submission.
right. Exactly. I'm in that kind of same boat. Like, what am I gonna like take a camera and film like MC middle parts and
Yeah,
then tie that together and be like, yeah, I did 7 over the course of a 4-hour thing, and now here you go. This is me doing 5 minutes of jokes.
it's very tricky, man. Because I rarely MC now, but I did do it earlier this year. Big J Okerson, you know Big J Okerson?
Yeah, for sure.
He was in town, and the feature spot was already taken, but they let me MC, and I just wanted to meet the guy because I'd never worked with him before. So I took the MC spot.
Oh, was this year? I thought you'd worked with him before. Well,
No,
yeah.
I just met him in January.
Wow.
He's a really cool guy and all
He's
that.
super nice.
Yeah, very nice. And but the thing is, like, I was very out of practice from MCing because it is the toughest job. At least, at a comedy club where you have to do these announcements and shit. They want you to say who's coming and what the drink specials are, and hey, is everybody ready for a show? And oh, I couldn't hear you, and clap again, and all that shit.
Right.
And so it's hard to get, even though I'm doing a shorter set, which would be more, it would accommodate better to submit for a comedy festival. It's not the same thing, man, because first of all, you're the first one up. People aren't paying attention. People are still sitting down. They're ordering drinks. And a lot of times, to be honest with you, dude, a lot of crowds are used to the first guy not being that great. Like they automatically dismiss
Big time.
whoever the first guy is. So they're not even trying to pay attention. Like I would get him eventually, but if I'm recording or if I'm submitting a 5 minute tape, I, I can't submit the first 2 minutes of me trying to get this audience on my side. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, yeah,
So if they're already primed to not like the first guy, it's gonna be an uphill battle half through your set.
big time.
So it's just I mean obviously comics do it all the time. They do festivals and they especially in New York. When I was living in New York, it seems like everybody is trying to work towards that TV 5 or 6 or just get that tight 6 minutes set so they can get on the Tonight Show or the Late Show or Comedy Central or whatever.
Yeah,
But that mentality, I just don't have that anymore.
yeah.
I guess I'm more of a road comic than I am a TV comic.
And yeah, and that is so fucking backwards. Like when we were, I don't want to say coming up, but like when we were getting our sea legs or getting our stage legs, it's this weirdly backwards, like there's 2 hills and there's an X in the middle,
Hmm.
where it's like there's TV success in the middle and there's the shittiest you're ever gonna be at it, and you're the most primed
Yeah,
for that, like for
right.
that moment of TV break for like 6 or 8 months, right, where you
Yeah,
suck at actually doing the job of being a comic. That's the best you're ever going to be for TV, you know?
yeah, and that's why a lot of times what happens is really new comics especially in New York and LA, they'll get that break because they do have I mean, they've been doing the same 5 or working on 5 minutes for 6, like just the same over and over and tighten it, tighten it. So
Yeah.
they'll get that break, they'll get that spot. But then once they get sent out on the road to headline, because now you're a TV guy,
Yep.
they can barely fill 15 minutes.
Yep.
Like when they actually have to deliver as a comic, they're like, I'm just used to doing these 5 to 7 minutes. I don't know about all this headlining stuff.
Right. Like, yeah, I would have, like, at 17, I would have absolutely crushed on TV. I would have been fine for 5.5, 7 minutes. And now I couldn't, if somebody offered me like whatever bullshit, 4.5 to 7 minute spot, I would be like, I don't want it. That's for somebody else. Go ahead. Like, I wouldn't even take it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would have to do a set that's so different from what I usually do that I don't even know if it would be representative of what I am as a comic right now.
Right.
But
I mean,
like you
no, because I
said,
take that back. I wouldn't turn it down. What I would say is, absolutely, here's what I'm going to do, and then I would do something insane, like mentally, just fully unhinged.
but I absolutely agree. I mean, when I started out actually, we were talking about the Asheville Comedy Festival. I recorded my set from the first Asheville Comedy Festival. I did maybe a 7-minute set. It wasn't very long, and I submitted that to a competition online on Crackle. You know that website, Crackle?
Yeah,
And
remember?
I won. They flew me out to New York City, and I got to perform at Gotham at the time. But back then I was way better at doing short, tight
Right.
sets. You asked me to do that now, there's no way that I would have taken me. There's like, no, this guy, he needs to get to the point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even though, like, I have I have a ton of short jokes. Like, I have books of short jokes, no problem, right? I've got plenty of, I could very easily do 5.5 minutes of short jokes, but like the rhythm of my set, I just
Right.
like do a long fucking time.
Well, and that's, yeah, exactly. Because I mean, when I started out, I used to write a lot of one-liners. So
Yeah.
I mean, I could fill a set with one-liners, but the flow is just not going to be there. And also another thing that I can't do is like, because some people will say, well, okay, you're doing 45 minutes, just record 5 minutes of that and then submit that. As like, there's certain jokes that work because of something that I said 12 minutes ago that
Right.
set up the joke that I'm telling now. It's like the punchline that I'm telling 20 minutes into my set
Right.
hits as hard because of what I've built up from
Yep.
the previous 20 minutes or whatever. It's not as easy as just like, oh, I'm just gonna, like you're doing video editing and you just cut a 5-minute thing and paste it into something else. It's just not gonna work. The context is no longer there.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like, on the one hand, I feel like we're witnessing this like late 80s style end of a comedy boom. But I don't feel as bummed out about it as I think as I would have been in the late 80s if I'd been around, like this end of this type of the boom that just happened, I feel was super artificial anyway, where everything that was elevated was fake, and it dying doesn't hurt my feelings,
Yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate
because
to that. But I
dudes
don't.
like dudes like you, they didn't have a bust when the end of the boom happened, because you were, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
those dudes that were still able to go do the job of 45 minutes or whatever, they didn't have a bust. The boom
Right.
wasn't for us anyway,
Yeah, you're right. I think
So,
you're right. I do wonder though, because even if this busts, there is no telling what will be at the other side of this. You know what I mean? I don't know what is stand up going to look like at the other side when we make it past. I mean, are there going to be actual stand up comedy shows like there's always been? You know what I mean? With 300 people packed inside a room.
right.
Or are they going to be like, okay, we have shows now, but everybody's 3 tables apart from each other and all that
Right.
shit?
I mean, that's going to be the case. Like, the states that haven't done a lockdown, right, they're going to have 2 years of just don't go there. Right?
Right.
Georgia, Alabama, Texas, like, we're fucked, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have some nuts squirreled away, you're gonna die in those places.
Right.
So if you're in Alabama, you're gonna die. Like they're opening up too early. Same with Georgia, etc. Right?
Right.
Because it's gonna go. They're gonna open, then they're gonna a shitload of people die. They're gonna close again, then they're shitload of people gonna die because they never closed in the first place. And they're gonna open, and then a bunch of people are gonna die, and then they're gonna close half-ass again, and all this. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know that that's going to have a lot of, like, in terms of like the way that happens is going to have a lot of cultural impact. I feel like that's just we're still on pause, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's almost like not happening. Like we just pretend that's not real because it's not. It has no economic power. It's not sustainable. So like Alabama, when the nightclubs open, you know, and the Stardome goes, hey, we got the A room open, and every other seat, not even every other seat, every other seat empty, and you pack the A room out with 30 people in it, you know, or the B room out with 9 people, right? And I don't know. I don't feel like that's gonna be the case in 2024, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's like a real placeholdery kind of moment. I don't know. And in terms of like the amount of money that generates, is it enough to keep doors open anyway?
Right. Yeah.
You know, I don't even know if that's part of it.
Yeah. I don't know how a place like the Stardome can survive in this kind of era.
0% loans, probably. I would
Yeah.
imagine these like crazy free loans. I'm gonna hit pause for 2 seconds.
So the beat was also AI generated.
The beat, no, pausing, playing again. All right, recording. The beat for that was done by a guy named Joey's Whack. He's a SoundCloud guy.
Oh. Okay. Got
And
it.
he took the Jay-Z vocal synthesis and then put it to a beat that existed so that it had like a snapped quantized feel. And with a beat, it absolutely feels like it is Jay-Z. Like when you listen to it by itself, it is a little less real. Like there's still like kind of.
Okay. Yeah. I listened to it with the beat. I haven't listened to just the lyrics.
Let me see if I can find just him with no. Here we go. So it's gonna act like dumb about it. Your internet connection's unstable. Uh-oh. That never happens. Do you want to listen to some CDs? The old Dave Attell bit about erectile dysfunction. Yeah.
You think you can get away with saying that shit to me over the internet? Think again, fucker. As we speak, I'm contacting my secret network of spies across the USA, and your IP is being
actually pretty good.
So you better prepare for the storm, my God.
I've listened to a lot of Jay-Z acapellas.
You call your life, you fucking dead kid. I can be anywhere, anytime, and I can kill you in over 700 ways, and that's just with my bare hands.
If you're not here and listening to it on the specific speakers I'm listening to it on, you might not hear like all the little nuanced dumb parts, right? Like there's computery like fragmentation in the highs, which that's really easy to chop out, not just like shelf the vocals in the middle, but then also make the beat have like a lot of highs in the hi-hats, right? Or like whatever ride cymbals going, like leave that floating, you know, and then put the vocal so that those weird fragmentations and computer parts don't work, you know. So yeah, when you hear
So
it,
if they wanted to, they could really make this sound like it's legit, you think? If they actually spend a lot of time on it, like getting all the little nuances out of the little glitches?
I mean, honestly, fuck spending a lot of time on it. Like, if you just shelf it and then you add, like, room noise, right? So, like, let's say you take me, right? And then you take the isolated version of computer me, and you've got my like the highs have like computery parts in it, and they're like little crackly generated sound, right? You don't have to even take that out. What you do is add extra highs from other sources, like glasses clinking, right? Or like the reverb of a room, just naturally has that shit in it. So you just generate all this extra high. So then you could type the M word a bunch of times and make me say it, and then make it sound like I said it on stage very easily. I've maybe said the M word on stage like 7 to 12 times tops in the last month. Like not that often at all.
Well,
like
it's because of the virus is slowing you down.
If anything, the virus has been speeding me up, because on an average month, it's like twice at the most.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
I think that's why I'm really hesitant to talk about the virus, is because I think it's making me say the N word.
Well, I guess we know who you're blaming for the virus.
Donald J. Trump.
Okay.
No, the other N word.
So you're just quoting Donald Trump. That's why you're saying the N word so much.
Right. I heard him say it at Mar-a-Lago, as he calls it. Well, we're not going to call what he calls Mar-a-Lago starts with an N and ends with a R-a-Lago.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, if you know what I mean.
You guys, seriously though, I love to make sure I have a collar when I do the pod.
Yeah.
Sometimes I got to do it this way, the dice collar.
Oh yeah, the
sometimes
dice.
I got to do the
nice.
Oh, you know what I mean about the N word. Hey,
there's a guy.
This guy in the front row, he's laughing because he knows about the N word.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man.
This guy with the hood, he knows what I'm talking about.
This guy, I'm not scared of you motherfuckers. Quit that music. Like, that's my favorite, man. That's one of my favorite 5 minutes. Speaking of, we were talking about like 5-7 minute clips or whatever. Like,
what is it that he says? He says something like "get down" or something like that.
Oh yeah, get down.
Is that what he says? It's something like that.
Get down. Yeah, because he's saying get down to like stop the music.
Yeah.
No, he says get down to start it, and then he's like, quit that shit. I didn't tell you to play that music. Yeah. He's like gets mad at the DJ to make it stop. Right. It's so good, and then he goes, get down. I ain't afraid
of all you motherfuckers.
Yeah, I ain't afraid of y'all motherfuckers.
I'm afraid of y'all motherfuckers.
I'm grown. I'm big boned. I'm blessed.
I remember I know I was scared of those motherfuckers when I was starting out. I did a set in I was maybe 2 years in, if that, in Columbia, South Carolina, at a place called the Comedy House Theater. And it was a all urban room. It was a big urban room. Not as big as the Stardome, but pretty big. And they just hated it. They didn't boo me. I'll give them credit for that, but I got nothing for 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm not doing that. I think I could do an urban room now, I think, because I've been doing this long enough, but it scared me off long enough that, like, I lived in Atlanta for like 5 years. I never did. The Uptown Comedy Club is the one that one's famous for like booing people. Like I've heard like the MC encourage, like, you don't like this motherfucker, just boo that motherfucker.
Yeah, get him the fuck off. We got shit to do. Like.
Yeah,
that was my favorite, man. If you don't like this motherfucker, boo him. So we got shit to do. Telling him like
shit to do.
It makes the show faster if you boo. It makes the show better if you boo the comics.
And people would tell me, and people was like, "Hey man, you got to do Uptown, dude. You got to do it." And I'm like, "Why? Why am I going to submit myself to getting booed on? I'm not." So for years, it just scarred me. And since then, I've done shows in more urban rooms, and they've been fine. But that first experience scared me enough that I didn't do it for a long time.
I crushed fucking dick at Uptown. That was back when you only got 3.5. I don't know what you get now, but like they would be like, you get 3.5. I don't know, but
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I showed up and they're like, you get 3.5, and I crushed fucking dick. It was like one of the strongest sets I've ever had in terms of short. Oh, I was so lucky. I was so fucking lucky. I showed up in like a Brooks Brothers.
Must have felt.
What?
Must have been fucking. Felt fantastic.
Oh my god! Like, cause I didn't know anything about it being hard until after.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was like I thought you were just gonna come really fast and we are gonna listen to CDs. You know, but they were like, yeah, this is whatever, you get 3.5, and I'm like, I kind of don't do. I don't know how to do. I mean, I'm done 3.5. I don't think I've ever had to do 3.5. And they're like 3.5 is average, and I'm like 3.5 ain't average, whatever. But like, so I'd go up and do it, and I was like, while it's happening, I was kind of weirded out by the, like you said, like the boo this motherfucker, make the show
Yeah.
faster. If you don't like him, tell him get the fuck off. And then I was just like, I just like out the gate just went joke, 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 joke. Like no pauses, no like. I mean, it was just all shucking and jiving and feeling it, you know. And
Yeah.
I was maybe like 24, 25 years old. So
See, when I did that show that I'm talking about, there was no me feeling the audience. There was just like, these are my jokes. That's all I got. Like, you know, that's I had like 5 minutes of jokes, and if you like them, great. If you don't, it's not like I can switch it up. That's all
yeah,
I got.
yeah,
So the way, you know, whereas now I can feel the room and I can switch it up. And all right, they're not gonna dig that, so I'll do this other thing. But back then it was like, nah, man, this is all I got. You either dig it or you don't dig it, and they fucking
yeah.
definitely didn't dig it.
Yeah, I was really, really lucky to have like my first probably 10, 11 years of doing it. I sucked at, I honestly, I sucked at having material. I sucked at shucking and jiving. I sucked at all of it. And then just like figuring out what shucking and jiving was, instantly I gravitated towards it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when you go to an urban room, that's 90% of it is like being able to just be there and like, hey, I get just projecting without saying it. I give a fuck about making you laugh.
Yeah.
Is like a huge part of it. And then they're like, this guy's here for us.
Right. Yeah. And I didn't have that, like, you know, and again, it goes
Yeah.
back to like how you change as a comic. Like I was telling you, I did that first Asheville Comedy Festival, and from the video that I got from that performance, I won that other competition. But with the jokes that I was telling them, because they were very one-liner oriented, they
Yep.
were very much like Mitch Hedberg was my idol when I started out. So
Same.
I had very much of that uh, cadence or just delivery or just like that absurdist kind of thing. So that's what I was doing, and it killed in the Asheville Fest because that's, you know, that's kind of like a white liberal town, and they kind of like that
Right.
weirdy stuff. But if I were to do those same jokes in an urban room, it would not have flown at all.
No. Well, it's weird, like, because I was like a Stephen Wright guy as a kid, and like that's the bait and switch is like how I thought comedy was supposed to work. But just like the stuff I listened to as a really little kid, not even trying to think about what doing comedy was all black comedy, right? Like, so it was all, you know, Red Fox and Bill Cosby and Flip Wilson, right? But then that's just like in the background radiation of my brain. In terms of like what I had to do or like what I had to be able to say in a one-liner always was kind of universalizable,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like it was never that thinky, you know? Like now sometimes it's a little thinky and I have to go, is anybody going to give a fuck about this joke about Kant or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one is. Like, I would never do a joke about Kant on stage unless it's to like just reference him and make fun of the idea that nobody knows who Kant is.
All right.
You know, like, but yeah. So
I had to
I was
do.
lucky to be dumb. Is I guess what I'm saying is like I was lucky to like know that referencing smart shit isn't what makes Stephen Wright funny. It's like the unexpectedness of the turn.
I mean, but if you ever were to do a philosophy convention, you would probably destroy with your Kant jokes. It's
Yeah.
just that 99% of the population is probably not going to be familiar with Immanuel Kant.
Well, no, they would get if I say Immanuel Cunt, they would think it's very funny.
Yeah. That's what you should.
That's very funny.
That's where you went wrong. That you should have sold shirts that said Immanuel Cunt.
I think if somebody sold cunt shirts, it would be very funny.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I never liked. I used to tell a joke when I sold shirts. I sold merch about how like I don't really care for stand up. I only got into this because I love selling shirts. You know, like that's my passion. I love selling shirts, so I just do stand up so I can sell shirts. But you know, obviously it's a joke because I don't want to fucking sell merch, but you kind of have to especially when you're starting out. because
Right.
you're not gonna make ends meet on feature pay. So
No.
I had to sell merch, and what I would always hear is like, "Oh, you want sell some shirts, man? It's people like drinking and they like weed." And those are the two shirts that I sold. One was about some joke about Milwaukee's best, and the other one had like a big pot leaf on it.
Yep.
And it was like, I mean, I told jokes about that, but it wasn't like I was the big pot comic or whatever. I just knew that this would sell. You know what I mean? I was like, yes, it's got people like weed and people like drinking. So this is what's gonna sell. So that's what I'm gonna fucking offer the audience. But it definitely wasn't like, oh yeah, this is representative of what I got into comedy to be, to represent me as a comic.
Yeah, that is one of the weird things about like selling merch is like it's almost impossible to like brand yourself as a comic and then sell merch. Like
Yeah.
there's a few people that got really lucky with that, like the Dan Cook's Soup Finger, like the Soup
Right.
Finger. And like I think that's it actually, in terms of people that are like able to be the brand that they are on stage on their merch.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, if you do achieve a level of notoriety, like once you're a famous comic,
Right.
I don't know, like Stanhope. I've toured with Stanhope a couple of times. People just his fans just love him. So if it's a shirt that says Doug Stanhope and has his picture on it,
Right.
he'll sell the fuck out of that shit.
Right.
But if I go to Duluth, Minnesota, and have a shirt that says Carlos Valencia with my picture on, nobody wants to see that shit. You
No.
know, they're gonna have to explain that to every single person that sees that shirt. It's like, who the fuck? Why did they misspell Mencia? What are you talking about?
I saw him with Doug Stanhope, and they'll go, "Oh yeah, I know Doug Stanhope." Yeah.
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 So unless you're very famous, you can't get away with just having a shirt like, you know, like Guns N' Roses has a tour shirt, like Carlos Valencia tour '98 or whatever. Mine, if I'm gonna sell anything, it's got to be some sort of a joke or something that people are gonna find amusing, even if you weren't at the actual show.
Yeah.
So I gotta think of something that's gonna be. But I mean, I always hated doing
Oh,
it.
I
Just
got something. It's not a T-shirt. It's a YouTube channel, and it's for you and me, right?
okay.
It's Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
It's Jay-Z.
Okay.
It's his voice, right?
Okay.
But it's a deep fake of uh, a vagina.
Oh, already that vaginas they sell for sure.
It's a talking vagina, and it's
With
gonna
Jay-Z's
move
voice.
with Jay-Z's voice, and then what we'll do is we'll make Jay-Z the vagina
Hey,
say
how about
stuff.
this? Hey, how about the Jay-Z?
There's where we're going with it. It's Jay-Z, um, and basically he'll read the collected works of Immanuel Kant.
Emmanuel Kant. I love it.
Yeah. Vijay-Z reading Immanuel Kant is our YouTube channel, right? And because nobody wears t-shirts anymore, it's all quarantine now. We just wear a sweatshirt, right? Sweatpants.
Yeah.
We jerk off directly onto our chest, shirtless. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we do. We don't go out in public.
Right.
We go mow the lawn. We take the grass clippings. We duct tape it to our bodies, right? That's what we wear now.
Yeah, yeah.
Fashion of the future, right? Judge Dredd, they didn't draw this kind of stuff, but this is what the world is. We duct tape
Yeah.
grass clippings to our body, and we watch vaginas on YouTube saying in Jay-Z's voice the collected works of Immanuel Kant.
Emmanuel Kant, and then we can replace any instance of the word man gets
Right.
replaced by cunt.
I like it. I like it. All racial slurs are jazz also.
There you go. I like
Jazz. Not
I don't-
black. So then there's no races. The gender thing is completely fixed because we took any cunt saying man. Cunt, look, when a cunt says man, it's just cunt. And then
It's just
jazz is all the racial slurs, right? So now
Yeah.
all the slurs are gone. If you say pot sticker, did you know pot sticker is a racial slur?
No.
It's not. I
Did you
just
invent
made it
that?
up. It feels like it should.
Oh, okay. I thought so.
It feels like it should be a racial slur for something. I don't know who. Who makes pot stickers? Is that the British?
That is pot stick. That's pot heads.
Is the pot sticker? No, the pot. That you're thinking of the leaves with the pots, the pot leaves on the trunk of the car. But I'm talking about the food pot sticker. That's like a Irish thing. I don't know.
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
I feel like culinarically uneducated, but
I know nothing about food. Whenever I play Jeopardy and they have a food category, I tap out. I don't know anything about food.
man, you and me should be like a trivia team because I crush at the food questions. I suck at the sports questions. Yeah, you know the sports.
I do. Oh no, dude. I got sports. I got well, I mean, you know, to an extent. But fucking food and drink, I suck. Huh?
I said you know soccer.
Oh fuck yeah, I know soccer. I can crush some fucking soccer.
Hell yeah. Well, fuck me. It was nice having you on. Let's
thanks for having me on, Beth.
Yeah. I know it feels like we could just keep talking because I like talking to you. But we're on a like,
I don't know if we should even air that whole the Jay-Z Emmanuel Cunt thing. Otherwise somebody might fucking steal it, dude.
I don't think anyone can steal it before we do it. I think if I air this in the next 15 seconds, I'll have already beaten them to the idea, right?
Oh, and does this work as far as copyright claims?
Well, here's what I'll do. First, I'll email us the copy of the file, right? Which is like regular mail. And if you mail a thing, then that's how the patent office believes that you patented it.
Yeah, that's a virtual timestamp.
Yeah, there we go. We got a virtual timestamp that it was our idea. TM, copyright, right? All that, registered trademark. Eat my dick. Vijay. Vijay-Z is the rapper's name. Emmanuel Cunt is the philosopher. He's reading the collected works, and the visualization is a vagina.
You know what? This is what I gotta say, Jason. You know what I say about all this Vijay-Z idea? I say, you crazy for this one, Jason.
Carlos Valencia, it was super fucking nice to have you on the great stage.
You, sir.
We're going to hit
stop
too long,
on this
one, and we're going to leave you guys with the Jay-Z sealed copy pasta with a beat.
Italian, I would wipe you the fuck up with precision and lights and which has never been seen before on this earth. My fucking walls. You think you can get away with saying that shit to me over the internet? Think you can, fucker? As we speak,
damn.